So let us begin by putting your body into an extra comfortable position. And it's almost as if it doesn't matter how I start this meditation or how you start this meditation, because on some deeper level, this particular intentional meditation has already begun. On some interdimensional cybernetic level, it was calling you to be here at this particular place, space, and time, to pay attention to your breath and your next breath and the next inhalation and the next conscious, slowed down exhalation. And maybe, perhaps even most importantly, the space in between each breath, where nothing and everything simultaneously coexists. And I'm not going to suggest that you go there or not. Or maybe just consider what it would be like to get a very vivid and very crystal clear, I mean, totally where you have the absolute ability to recognize the boundaries around anything that is causing you stress or anxiety, whether you know the source of what's causing you to feel what you're feeling or not. Perhaps it has not yet been revealed to you, or on another level, it's just maybe, perhaps not even important for you to consciously know. Because you do not have to know something consciously in order to let it go. To send it into the ocean that leads to the center of an ocean that drops down into a whirlpool that leads to a portal that leads to the source of all creation, whatever that is for you. Now, I know some people might experience a slight tinge of fear by thinking about being in an ocean where in the center there's a whirlpool swirling, because perhaps they wouldn't be able to, let's say, totally float up out of the water and safely and swiftly and comfortably look into the center of that whirlpool, knowing that it only draws in things that are two-dimensional. And of course, if you're floating above the water, you would be, in this particular instance, considered as three-dimensional, which isn't good or bad, or right or wrong. It's just simply a happening, even automatically. You can imagine if you or someone you know now is experiencing on some level anxiety, crystal clear, seeing that word, whether it's the color of red letters, or perhaps you're now aware of the font that the word is associated or perhaps even attached to, the emotion or feelings your body signals, much like a siren signaling you to pay attention, to become more aware, because sirens and signals aren't always signaling emergencies. Sometimes it could be a release, or seeing the particular font, shape, and size of that letter or that word anxiety. Seeing and feeling what that feels like, or looks like, or even sounds like if you took all of those letters and that feeling and flipped them upside down. Would that change now your feelings of release or relief? Or perhaps would you like to rearrange the words, which is really one word, or perhaps making the words into a few words? And maybe you would want to rearrange the letters in the word so it's no longer a word that is recognizable or perhaps you no longer have the ability to enunciate or recall what the feeling was. And I don't know whether you chose consciously or subconsciously. If the letters are two-dimensional, make them two. If you want to imagine a giant pair of scissors cutting each letter up into bits and pieces of confetti, into a confetti shooter, pulling the trigger back, shooting it into the sky, watching it fall down into the water, being automatically swirling down the whirlpool into nothing. And perhaps you're feeling better, as good as you would like to feel. And maybe might be curious to do the same. I mean, how much better you will feel by taking the word stress and stretching and stretching each letter of the word stress. So the S comes into an I, the T becomes into an I, the R pulls into an I, same thing with the E and the last two S's. So it might look like 5 lines. And you can take the 5th line and run it perpendicular with the other lines, crossing it out. Or perhaps lining the lines up like dominoes and knocking them over. Or perhaps zooming in to a micro pixel, a dot that makes up billions of dots, that makes up a letter. Or maybe even zoom out. That's right. Zoom out so the letters shrink to the size of an ant, to the size of an atom, to a subatomic particle that you can no longer recognize. And maybe now it is time to begin to ascend and protectively, sacredly float up. Or perhaps stay where you are and have the universe drop down. Either way, allow your consciousness, your awareness itself, to focus on the consciousness itself that is watching the thoughts, the intelligence inside that is listening to my voice. the part of your deep unconscious that is making arrangements, connections, wondering what that signal is communicating. Wondering what the next breath is going to bring you deeper, calling in the light itself. To completely surround, protect, nurture, touch, and enter every cell of your consciousness, giving you the sensation of floating in space and through time. Knowing that everything is perfectly happening the way it is meant to, because it is happening. There is nothing to do but be in this moment by letting go of every thought you become aware of and all the ones you are unaware of. Letting go, surrendering to trying to do anything, to become something. Recognize any resistance to whatever's happening and accept if there's resistance without trying to change it. Now is the time to imagine a golden ball of pure consciousness flowing from my energy, from my voice, guiding, suggesting, that you allow this golden ball to come into the room about a foot away from your third eye, from the space between your eyebrows. As you focus on it, and it is only there for you, You can ask it to come 11 inches away from you and feel your mind quieting to 10. Feel something happening, 9. As the consciousness in self increases to 8 inches away. And there's something about the number 7 that's super sacred and divinely guided. 6 is the halfway point from where you were. As it begins to 5 take shape and form, connecting the 3, you, your higher self, and younger self into one sacred whole being. As this golden light enters the top of your head, very lovingly and very gently spreading to your heart center. And expanding throughout the rest of your body. Allow your own higher, deeper consciousness take over as it helps you to truly find yourself, know yourself, love yourself, meet yourself, and help lift yourself up into higher and higher levels of awareness and surrender, deeper inwards. For as long as you like to continue receiving this divine blessing. From your higher self. For no other reason than simply being you perfectly as you are.